All right, killing some time. We got 13 days. The 13th of September is my hunting starts for archer down here. Deer, they haven't been rubbing, but they're starting to rub. I got that picture I'm gonna put on here. Shows one on camera. I put out that camera, a week later he was putting his eyeball in it to let me know he's watching me too. Hey, you don't think them bucks are counting down? You wrong. You're wrong. They know what's coming, but that's all right. We're gonna find them, right? All right, so what I want to talk about in this video is the Florida rut. All right, this is specific to Florida, and Florida is different than any other state that I've ever hunted. I've hunted Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Arizona. Florida, I'm a native Floridian. I'm born and raised here, and I grew up knowing this knowledge, and most of us here know it. It's different than any other state. All right, a lot of people say, hey, Florida deer ain't worth hunting, all that. No, that's a bunch of crap. We got some nice deer down here. The meat is outstanding. I think it tastes better than a lot of places that I had. I think it's because of how they eat, and they don't eat a lot of corn and things like that. They eat a lot of foliage and stuff like that, and especially on public land, because you can't bait or any of that. So and that's what I hunt. This is all, you know, what I talk about most time is public land, which is most of us, right? I mean, let's be honest. We all don't have the luxury of knowing people with a lot of land or have that money to get that, or then especially then build it for deer hunting, even if you do. And down here in Florida, even a lot of private land that you see, it looks prime and all that, and it don't have deer on it. And I've had that experience. So I just stick to public land because I know our Florida wildlife fishing game and things, they do a good job down here. So talking about public land and the Florida rut is what I'm going to talk about in this video. I got a little distracted, so I apologize if I skipped off. We're talking about the Florida rut and how it's different. All right, years ago Florida almost lost all its, not all, but majority of its deer population, and so there's an effort put in to restore the whitetail deer population, get it healthy again, get us a healthy herd going down here. In order to do that, they drew deer from different states. I want to say Alabama, I want to say Mississippi, and Georgia, if I remember right, to relocate them. So in other words, they captured deer from those states and they relocated them here to Florida. Different places got deer from different states. Now those doe are rutting at the different times when they got it. They've already built their cycles and when they rut. And you come down here to Florida, so you didn't have any kind of really climate impact that's going to adjust that into a set time frame like you do in a lot of colder states and all that, when the deer can't do their fawn drops at certain times of year because mortality rate's too high. All right, so when they move these deer in here to Florida, they put some from this state here, some from this state here, some from this state here, and what happened out of that is we got the most diverse rut of any state. Now, put in the comments if you're going to tell me I'm wrong. All right, when I mean diverse, what I mean is we got probably like 5 different rut times based off where you're at in Florida. And we got A, B, C, and D zones. And I'm going to put it in the maps here somewhere. So I'm going to put some maps to show you how it's broken down here in Florida. South is July through August, which is the light green. They already had their season. Northwest and Central, right there, the dark blue is January to March, and everywhere else around there in them light greens is the rest of the time. Wild, right? So, on these maps that I hunt mainly in that little spot right in the middle, and yeah, it goes everywhere from January, February, and even March. There's no hunting season in March. January and February is about it. It kicks off the rut in January and February in such a long time frame. Now that increases the deer activity and rutting type activities and all that, so it is good to hunt. But if you get wrapped around, in my opinion, the rut down here in Florida, you might be selling yourself out. Like, you know, yeah, take advantage of it. Obviously, anything that works when they're moving and catching them bucks moving around. And I killed a nice 8-pointer 2 years ago. I'm getting mounted. I'll do a video of that when I get it back. But take advantage of it. But it's different. I also hunt a little bit south of myself here, which gives me another rut zone, which I take advantage of and go into this year muzzleloading season, which is around October. Then you got all the way down south, man, them folks down there, it kicks off way earlier. It's a crazy phenomenon of how the rut here in Florida applies. So hopefully by doing this video, I'm letting some new hunters that are new down here to Florida understand, you're gonna get frustrated if you come down here and you're like almost everywhere I've been, where pre-rut, October, November, boom, heat of the rut kicking off, and then the post-rut. All right, that's how it was almost everywhere I was at when I was in the Marine Corps every time I hunt. That's pretty much guaranteed. Bam, November, hey, that's my birthday month too, so it's always a prime time for me to hunt. But November rocks. Almost everywhere I've been, a portion of the rut's going on in November. Let me know in the comments if you're a little bit different in that, but I just, my experience through where I've been, almost it seemed like if I was to ask somebody when the rut is, they're gonna say November. And I run into that quite a bit down here when I run into other deer hunters from up in Alabama and Georgia that come down, talking to them, you know, via W, or they move down here because of jobs and all that, and they're getting into hunting and stuff, and they just don't see the deer or whatever, and don't know how to hunt down here in Florida. I give them a little hand and let them know, like, hey, do some research in your area down here in Florida where you're at, and look at these maps. You can get on, just Google it, say Florida deer rut map, and it'll come up. The FWC puts it out, Florida Wildlife Commission puts it out, and it's on there, open to the public. I'm going to use it on the video. I'm going to put some of it on there. But if you want to hunt the rut down here in Florida, and you want to get in that hot activity, you know, regardless if you're a rifle, shotgun, muzzleloader, archery, you know, as you know, you can hunt rifle season with archery. So if you like to do that just for the sport of it and all, and you want to get into hunting the rut and look at that map with archery, that's when you want to get out. Even though it might be general gun season, you want to get out during that rut to increase the deer activity. Now, me personally, I don't really care. I enjoy hunting. I get out there, I hunt other things. I apply, you know, movement and rain patterns and all that, and we'll do a different video on how water and the rainy season and the cypress heads and all that affects Florida hunting. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. And this was all about Florida rut, and hopefully you got something out of it. And if anything, I stoked your interest into looking up and not assuming that because you've hunted deer your whole life in all these other states that Florida is the same as these other states, because it is not. And you need to do the research if you're going to do hunting the rut, and find out when is the prime time for the area that you're hunting at for the rut. And from there, you'll increase your success. You'll enjoy your time in the Florida woods, and you'll stop talking so much smack about Florida. Because Florida, in my opinion, I've hunted deer, like I said, in many other states. Florida, in my opinion, it's one of the toughest whitetail hunts that you can on public land. And, you know, I'm not going to say that people won't get out there and, oh, this is easy because they go and happen to get lucky or this or that, or there's places or public areas that have a lot more than others. But I'm going to tell you, my experience is that a lot of days not seeing anything. So that's just the way it is. It's Florida hunting. I love my state. It's beautiful out there. I always see some kind of wildlife or game almost every time I go, regardless. but it is difficult to hunt Florida deer here. And to help you increase your chances if you're from another state, because we got a lot of people from out of state here that are trying to hunt here, check your rut dates for your area of the management area that you're going to go into, and you'll have a lot more success out there hunting Florida deer.